hugging the Mexican, the border with Mexico for quite a bit of that drive, and just some of the stuff that we were seeing, and this was kind of all just a bit before the last election, and unfortunately some of the lines that I wrote thinking one thing, now since the last couple years have gone by, some of these lines have taken on new meanings, which is always kind of an interesting thing in songwriting and creativity. And put something out there and it kind of takes on a life of its own as it, as time goes by. So it's called American Refugee.
Fun. It's like drop the pick halfway through the song and be like, okay, I'll just keep on going. It's like finger picking version.
It's too far away.
Yeah.
So we sort of alluded to some border situations, which we've definitely experienced. The song came out of
a nightmare.
A nightmare where basically Dan had proposed to me, and then a couple weeks later we were crossing the border between Idaho and BC, and the border guards decided to take me aside for 4.5 hours and just hear my whole life story, at the end of which they decided that I was a danger to the Canadian workforce because I was trying to enter at that point as a tourist, but I had my violin with me and I'd been on work permits before to come and play, and so they're saying, yeah, but what if what if someone were to offer you a show while you're here with your violin? Would you be able to play the show with the violin you currently have with you? And I said, well, yeah, it's my violin. He said, well, then we have to just ban you because, you know, Dan needs to go and go through this whole process, you know, hiring a Canadian or going through this process to get an American with a work permit, a valid work permit, and you can't be here, you know. And then they learned that we were engaged, and that was the nail in the coffin, I think. So in any case, I was banned from Canada for a year, and Dan we were both feeling pretty devastated, but Dan was ultimately optimistic because I had said yes to his marriage proposal.
It would have been a totally different kind of song, you know, if she'd said no.
It would have made sense, but
depressing blues song or something, you know. It would have been this song that I wrote, which says, you know, the sun is shining all over my life. I'm happy, you know, it's all good. It worked out. So this is what this song is about, and it's just about, you know, finally realizing that I, you know, had a bad situation with the border, but I'm just looking forward to spending the rest of my life with Laurel. So I know eventually we'll be together. It just was going to be a few months. So I was up in Canada, and she was banned, and I had to stay there for a few months and do a solo tour. And so, you know, the Canadian government wants me to find a violinist from Canada to keep the work in the family, right? So I replaced her with a German-made marine band harmonica, because that's what I play. I always play a harmonica, right? And like I play harmonica all the time. So without Laurel, I'm going, well, the only thing I can get in a jiffy is my harmonica out of my back pocket, and so that's why I'm playing harmonica on this track, because you know
it was all quite silly, but and then the song is called New Disguise, because Dan was, you know, realizing his work permit for the States at that point, it was expiring. It was taking, you know, 6 to 8 months to get a new one. So if he was going to come and see me, he was going to have to leave his guitar back in Canada and just cross the border as a normal guy, because we were afraid of him getting banned from the US. And so he felt like he was in disguise, just as a normal guy without a guitar, you know. He always has a guitar in his hands. But after he crossed the border, he was able to have his mom ship his guitar to him, and things have worked out fine. And you know, since then I'm allowed back in Canada, thankfully. But it's called New Disguise.
I ain't got a home, clothes on my back, I don't need no con. Can't wait to feel you in my arms till I die. To tell this world how I love your sweetest laugh, but your joy brings me even through a photograph. Can't wait to feel you in my arms till I die. The sun is shining all over my life, and now baby you're the reason for the season of my blue sky. The sun is shining all over my life, and now baby you're the reason for the season of my blue sky. Stockpile money for a plan B or C. But let the plan I'm making involve in your sweet company. I can't wait to feel you ever wants you, you'll just tell them it's too late. And you'll talk all about my heart, baby, ain't that great? Can't wait to feel you, with you in my arms, the sun is shining, the sun is shining all over my life. And now, baby, you're the reason for the season of my blue skies. The sun is shining all over my life. And now, baby, you're the reason for the season of my blue skies.
Here's the bridge I wrote about the border.
We'll open this time, just flies on by. We'll hide what we can from the electric eye. Yeah, the sun is shining all over my life. Now, baby, you're the reason for the season of my blue skies. The sun is shining all over my life. And now, baby, you're the reason for the season of my blue skies. Baby, you're the reason for the season of my blue skies.
That was The Border. So we're gonna do a song that we've been doing, well, Dan's been performing it for a very long time, and sort of as time goes by, you wanna do that one?
Uh,
Yeah,
take
we
my
could do
place? Take my place?
Oh, yeah, no, we can do. You guys wanna hear kind of a, yeah, we could do, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
An upbeat kind of gypsy jazz tune?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do, okay, changing gears.
And this song was written because it was actually written as part of a dare. It was kind of wild. I had gotten this campfire gig back in my 20s, and I was, I guess the word got around that I'd play from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Wow.
And I'd play every kind of song in the book, you know, just whatever song someone wanted to hear, I'll just play it. So I wound up getting this word out that I was doing that. So a guy calls me and, you know, he says, hey, we're having a campfire this weekend, and invite me out. And right at the end of the call, he's like, you know, bring your guitar. So I'm like, okay, I was one of those scenes, so free entertainment. So I showed up and I played until about 2 in the morning. And everyone throughout the night had been breaking open beers for me and putting them on logs, and just like having them like sitting there on a log near the fire, and I'm playing guitar. And, you know, right on, man, rock and roll, you know, because I'm playing all these hit songs that they liked. And then as time went on, the vendor had closed at about 2 in the morning, and there was no beer left, there was no alcohol left, and these people are very drunk, and they're looking at all my 6 or 7 beers sitting there cracked open, and I hadn't touched them because I was playing like solid, right? I wasn't even touching anything because too busy playing. Someone's like, hey man, you gonna be drinking any of that beer, man? Or are we gonna like fucking have to drink it? I was like, okay, how's about I drink, you know, a beer for every song I play? So I tried that out. It lasted about 3 or 4 songs because I was on an empty stomach, and all I'd eaten was like one hot dog at like 6 p.m., you know, or something. And I was just like so hammered. And then I wound up dropping my pick on the grass and then there's at least 6 drunk guys trying to find my pick so that I can keep playing. And then I start playing with my bare hand because I couldn't feel pain. And I'm playing, and I cut my finger on the guitar string and started bleeding on my guitar. And then somebody's like, man, this is like, the guy who booked the party is like, you don't have to play anymore. It's all good, you know. You don't have to go right till 7 in the morning or anything. I said, no, man, I'm drunk, but I'm still playing. And then this one guy said, hey, that sounds like a slogan or a bumper sticker or something. And I said, I would never want to drive behind someone with a fucking bumper sticker that said, I'm drunk, but I'm still playing. Like, holy shit. So the guy's like, well, then why don't you write a song with that line? And so the next morning I wake up and I'm completely wasted because I drank the rest of the beer. And on my hand was like this scribbled, really bad handwriting saying, I'm drunk, but I'm still playing. And I remembered I'd made some kind of a deal that in order to win a bet or something, I'd be writing a song with that line. So the first thing I did was I grabbed my guitar and my hand went to this position, which is a really easy position to go to. But it sounds like a frickin' hangover, like listen. It sounds like a hangover. So I went, well, I said, I've threw the line in. The first thing I did, my voice sounds really raunchy in the morning after all that shit. So I went, I'm drunk, but I'm still playing, not caving into the glare behind the dawn. I got that old campfire swaying. I'm drunk, but I'm still playing, not caving into the glare behind the dawn. And then I realized that people were clapping outside the tent, and I'd won the bet. And guess what I won? A free case of beer. It's not like drinking beer at 8 in the morning.
Oh, no.
So anyway, that's how this song got its start. It's called Surefire Way of Taking. 1, 2.
I've got that surefire way of taking that little hard line is pretty. Hard to take a chick and make myself get down. Got that old standby dispute. Good tension with my savior. Can't guarantee you won't run me around. I've got that old campfire swaying and I'm drunk, but I'm still playing out. Living into there behind the dawn. I'm gonna write her an old time love line, sing it in a song and that's that. Look up all the times I put her on. Well, 'cause she's just a dream, but I'm just
this one Dan wrote in another kind of an interesting situation. He was touring out with, he got hired to play with a native Canadian band. And you tell the story better than I will.
Yeah, so I got a gig to play the Winnipeg Folk Festival in 2001, and it's in July, and I was like, okay, it was this folks that came out to this bar in Winnipeg and saw me playing blues, and they came up to me, and you know, there's some Ojibwe natives, and they're traveling all summer, and they had some gigs. They had a gig in Winnipeg, and they also had a gig out at a festival out in New York State. And so they said, we want you to play guitar in our band. And I said, that sounds great. I'm so excited to play the folk festival and then to go play this other festival in New York and State, and nice road trip this summer. Should be fun. You know, it was like a few weeks later that I got together with them and did this sort of a practice rehearsal. And I was freaked out. I was going, this is the most crazy rehearsal in my whole life, because they're playing these acoustic, they're round drums. It's like a ceremonial native drum. And they were playing them, you know, with these big mallets and singing traditional songs, Ojibwe and Mohawk songs. So it was like, you know. And so I'm playing my guitar and I'm going like, they're going, no, we don't want chords. And so I'm going, okay, I guess I'll play a note, you know. So I'm going, they're going, and I'm going, we don't want notes either. And so I'm going, what am I going to do with this thing on stage? I'm going to like stand up on stage with it and just look stupid or something, because I need to play chords or notes on it. And they said, no, there's this big booming sound from your guitar. And so I'm thinking back and I'm going, oh, I know what it was, because I was playing this blues song and I was going like, and through the pickup, when you do that, when you tap on this bridge, it goes through the pickup and it sounds huge. It's like this boom, boom, it's like this big bang. So what they wanted was me to be on stage. They didn't bring the drum with them because it was too quiet, and too much of a pain to mic. So they wanted me to do this while they were singing, like with it plugged in, while they were singing the songs. You know, and it sounded amazing at the folk festival. It was like a great sound, and everyone was blown away. So anyway, it was like a whole summer of me doing this, you know. And so I was kind of missing playing guitar. And what we drove out to New York State was this 20-year-old Dodge minivan. And so there's me and 5 other adults in the van, and we were just like, you know, jamming and making a lot of racket. What wound up happening was the van broke down and died completely about 20 miles from where we were playing the festival. So it was finished, and we're all hitchhiking to get to the festival. And we stayed in this trailer for 3 weeks with this lady, this really nice lady. She put us up for 3 weeks. And after a while, we're going, we got to get the hell out of here. The festivals are over. We got to get back to Winnipeg. We're all going to starve out here. What are we doing, you know? So one guy says, well, why don't we do a car wash? Why don't you play guitar and we'll wash cars? And I said, sounds fun. So we wound up doing it, and we made $600 in the course of an afternoon, because it was this magical thing where everyone who showed up happened to ask for a song that I not only liked and knew, but couldn't wait to play, because I've been doing this for like 3 weeks. So it was like, hey, do you do the Beatles? Oh yeah, which one? Right? Or they'd be like, hey, do you do Pink Floyd? Oh yeah, like, get away, moments to make up the tall day. So it was like a lot of really good vibes, and everyone was giving money. One guy gave us $100. Wow. And it was just like this magical day. And so we all got our money, but the night before we went on our way back to Winnipeg, the elder came up to me. It's Elder, who I got to know. And he says, you know, as your parting gift, we want to bring you to a sweat lodge. And the evenings at that point had been getting cold in the trailer, so I was all excited, you know, right on, a sweat lodge. So I showed up with this white towel over my shoulder, and then the elder looked at me and he went, you know, this isn't Club Med, man. This is like it's like you get reborn. You go into this hut with everyone, and it's very, very hot, but it's like you sweat, and it's really purifying for your spirit and everything. And so I was like, okay, this will be really cool. So I ditched the towel and I went in, and I'm the kind of songwriter where really like when songs just are miracles to me. Like they come to you, like it's a muse, right? It's like art, any kind of art where it just happens, and that does happen sometimes. This song was written on August 5th, 2001, called New York City Sundance. And about a month later, the song took on a different meaning, because there's this line in there where I say about I saw the whole world dying as I watched the Sundance crying on the field. It's a New York City morning and watch the wheels slowing down. So it's like it's like kind of a wild song to write, you know, right before that happened. So it's called New York City Sundance.
You can call me friend, but it better feel that way, 'cause I'm young inside, been living no lies, loving something with mine. Hey, yeah, 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 loving something with mine. Hey, yeah, 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 loving something with mine. Hey, yeah, 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 loving something with mine. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you
We
so
actually
much.
have a hard stop. It's like 10:01.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Well, that was a good one to end with because that's the last song on the CD. So,
Perfect. Well,
thanks,
you all.
everyone. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.